This is the Secure CyberConnect podcast with Jay Adamson and Warren Atkinson, where we're joined by information and cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals who share their journeys, unique perspectives and offer advice and guidance. Our topics on this episode will be securing the future of mobility, cyber risks in the age of connected cars. Today we're extremely pleased to be joined by Raghav Singh. With 12 years of experience, Raghav is an automotive tech and cybersecurity expert, heavily focused on designing secure, scalable platforms for connected vehicles and digital services. He's an experienced engineer, product security expert, and strategic advisor across product development, cybersecurity, and program management, and has worked across diverse sectors from automotive to high tech, and has held key roles in product development, security, and program management. Specialising in securing connected mobility ecosystems, Raghav has experience across the entire automotive supply chain, working with suppliers of leading car manufacturers in both Germany and China. As a security architect at Mercedes-AMG, he drives security innovation for next-gen connected and electric vehicles and has led key projects within automotive product development, engineering and sales. Based in Germany, there is a global perspective to the future of connected mobility with a strong focus on securing and innovating in this fast-evolving space. As a two-time STEM graduate, published inventor and PMI and TÜV certified PM, and automotive cybersecurity professional, he combines technical depth with strategic leadership. Additionally, he advises startups on product roadmaps, cybersecurity strategies and growth, and leverages his broad experience to guide them through the complexities of the tech landscape. He is also the founder of Cyber Purpose, a newsletter that makes cybersecurity and emerging technologies accessible to professionals across industries in order to share his insights and simplify complex topics for engineers, business leaders, and tech enthusiasts worldwide. Raghav, welcome to the Secure CyberConnect podcast, and thank you for joining us, as it's great to have you on the episode.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me on your podcast. Pleasure to be here.
That's brilliant. Jay and myself have been really looking forward to today's session. So for our audience, Raghav, could you share with us a high-level overview of what we're going to be discussing today?
Yeah, so we'll be discussing today regarding automotive ecosystem, because we understand cybersecurity, as we have seen, is not just an information security topic, and it's coming across automotive and other connected product domains, be it automotive or any generic mobility segment. So whether it's electric vehicles or autonomous cars, robotaxis, or last mile delivery solutions, it's applicable everywhere, and it's again much of popularity in previous years, not just from the technical point of view, but also from a regulatory and policy making point of view. So we'll be discussing about what are the regulations nowadays which are prevalent in the industry, whether it's a UNECE R155 standard regulation or ISO 21434, which is for automotive products. We will also go through the Cyber Purpose, which is a new initiative from my side. I want to simplify security concepts for engineers, enthusiasts, and they're kind of going to prepare a resource for automotive enthusiasts on this platform. And then I'm open to all of your questions, whatever you would like to ask me regarding automotive cybersecurity or something like that.
So Raghav, please could you be kind enough to share about something that you're either excited about or perhaps want to shine a light upon that isn't on your LinkedIn profile?
So there's one initiative where I've been working on as a side project, which is Cyber Purpose, which is a newsletter for automotive cybersecurity professionals, as well as also anybody who is interested in cybersecurity of connected products across the industries, whether it's automotive, medical technologies, or emerging tech. So this is one side project which I would like to go into detail during this podcast today. And apart from that, I've been also advising a couple of startups in last 6 months on a pro bono basis across UK and USA. This is alongside my job, which I am doing at the Mercedes-AMG currently. So this is something which we can explore if that is something of mutual interest.
That's really impressive and something that we're seeing an increased amount of at the moment, especially individuals such as yourself that are SMEs becoming small organizations and helping startups. So I do commend you for that.
And could you describe to us maybe one of the key moments or a significant challenge that you face throughout your career that shaped your views on cybersecurity?
Sure, Jay. So I've been working with one organization approximately 10 years back, and the automotive cybersecurity was not a big deal back then. So in the industry, if you look at historically, before 10 years, the cars were not connected. There was no internet connectivity. The automotive systems were also not that smart. So now you see the whole digital cockpit, infotainment, and many kind of mobile applications which are being used across the ecosystem for different functionalities, whether it's to find your charging station for your car, or whether it's regarding checking your battery health via your mobile applications, or even finding or playing music which you would like to play on your radio or music instrument inside the car. So as the connectivity and the smart functionality has increased over a period of time in last 10 years, so has the risk for connectivity as well as cybersecurity of those systems as well. So 10 years back when I was working with one OEM, this particular component was one of the major component in the vehicle, and this was hacked by some white hat researchers. And that was a kind of point for me, which took me to go deeper and understand the issue, because it was a kind of new topic back then. And I was responsible for this project at that point of time. So I realized one thing, that it is not like one-time fix, like you develop a solution and just deploy it and then you forget about that. It's a continuous process, and it has to be secure across the product life cycle. So from design phase until the vehicle is scrapped, you have to take care of the holistic cybersecurity for that particular product. And that was a changing moment for me. And also, of course, since last 6 years, I've been working on this topic at the front end as a cybersecurity architect. So I understand it in more detail and also in more nuanced manner from technology as well as regulatory point of view. But that was kind of point which made me look into this field and also go much deeper into cybersecurity as a professional.
And when it comes to what is clearly the growing importance of cybersecurity in connected and autonomous vehicles and securing people's cars, can you give us some of the history of cybersecurity within the automotive industry and some of the key challenges and risks that we're all going to be facing with connected cars and digital services?
So I would like to highlight this from historical point of view. So if you look at the technological advancement within automotive, we can break it into three eras. So before 2000s, and 2000 to 2010, and 2010 onwards. So before 2000, if you look at the automotive, the cars were not having too many electronics components, or the software was not a big deal for automotive products. From 2000 onwards, the cars have started deploying some smart functions for braking, for steering, and also for providing power to all the wheels and stuff like that. And therefore, the increase of electronic and software components in the vehicle have gone exponentially since 2000. And 2010 onwards, if you look at the cars, it has become a more of data on wheels, or software on wheels, as they call it nowadays in the industry. The functionality have increased 100 folds. If you look at the ease of those functions, you can have a mobile, you can have your digital key on your mobile for your car, you can perform certain operations from your mobile applications. You can also have n number of functionality within your digital cockpit. So you can play your favorite music on your display using your infotainment system, or you can perform certain operations while being inside the car, because car is connected with the infrastructure, car is connected with the internet. And with this connectivity, you see also the trend which is changing, not just from technological advancement point of view, but also from regulatory and a risk point of view. So when I say risk point of view, the cars, because there was no electronic or no software, was also a kind of a standalone device or a standalone product. So you can say nobody was interested much to put that much of effort to hack a car or manipulate a car system, because there was no incentive for the hacker or manipulator for car hacking. So at the worst, somebody could have manipulated certain functions in a car, but the risk would have been just for maybe a vehicle driver or someone who is sitting inside the car. And I'm not trying to just belittle the impact of the risk, but I'm just trying to give you a scale how we can look at this. And now cut to, if you look at the cars now, and because of the connectivity in the car and also certain critical functions which can be operated via mobile app and also by being inside the car remotely, the impact has also grown multifold. So if somebody in a very hypothetical scenario is able to manipulate certain vehicle functions or manipulate an n number of cars via remote, the implications are much, much higher than it used to be.
So in terms of obviously navigating regulation, we're all familiar with the likes of standards such as 27001 and 22301. But would you be kind enough to talk us through the ISO 21434 standard, and maybe also give us a brief introduction to the UNECE RWIL 55 and their impact on automakers and suppliers.
So many people are aware of ISO 27 series of standards, which you just mentioned, Jay, because that's one of the information security standards which is in use since a decade, I would say, at least. ISO 21434, on other hand, and also UNECE R155 or 156 standards, which are for cybersecurity management system of automotive products or software update management systems, they are relatively new. And the need for these standards came because of, that's my personal opinion, but I think it came because of the Jeep incident, which happened in 2015. So that was a catalyst, I would say, or for automotive industry, I would say that was a kind of a Snowden moment. And that's how it kind of accelerated the process of having such a standard for industry.
And for our listeners, Raghav, briefly, what was that incident?
So in 2015, there were two white hat researchers. They were working on a research project. They were white hat hackers because their intention was not malicious. They were just trying to find out the vulnerabilities or weak spots in automotive systems. So Chris Valasek and Charlie Miller, these were two researchers. They were working on certain vehicles. They were Toyota vehicles and also Jeep vehicles. They found certain vulnerabilities in the automotive systems. And exploiting those vulnerabilities, they could take the control of the key vehicle functions such as braking, steering, and they have demonstrated it, of course, after informing the manufacturer regarding those vulnerabilities when they opened their report via YouTube and also via Wired. I think there was a magazine where this report was published officially, all in very ethical manner. So they have previously informed the manufacturers, and after getting their approval, I think they published that report. It showed that using those weaker spots or vulnerabilities, as they're called in cybersecurity lingo within automotive, they were able to take control of certain vehicle functions remotely. So which means in a hypothetical scenario or the scenario that they demonstrated, they were sitting somewhere in their lab and they could take control of a Jeep vehicle which was on the road. So if you are, just imagine if you are a driver or someone sitting beside the driver, your car's being taken control by a certain ethical hacker or researcher or some malicious actor, how do you feel? This attempt was just for research and awareness purpose, I must reiterate here. But that particular incident, I think, had gained a lot of attention from the regulators, from policymakers, and also from automotive companies. And they became more and more serious since then, I would say.
That's brilliant. And I think there's an immediate threat for life there, and not just the view to protect data, personal identifiable information, which is very important. That's why we see those standards, obviously, being really important this time. So as we look to the future in terms of secure mobility, what are you seeing out there in the market in terms of innovation and emerging technologies that are perhaps going to be shaping the future of connectivity onto us, autonomous vehicles? Such as the V2V, for instance, and obvious impacts of AI in industry, Raghav?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Warren. So now we see the classical information security and automotive product security. I see a trend that it's converging. It's converging at the intersection of classical information security or data security, as well as the cloud security and security of connected systems. So whatever we have seen in previous years, there were three different fields. So somebody working in IT security was just focusing on security of IT systems or information security and stuff like that. And people who were working on cloud system, they were mostly working on security of cloud environment and authorization, authentication of users who are accessing cloud systems. And people who are working for connected products, whether it's for automotive or any such other industry, whether it's a medtech or avionics or other electronic industries, where electronics and software is, I think, a main contributor for such products. Now we see in last couple of years, all these have been converging because at some or other level, you have to interact with each other. So you have to consider them as a holistic ecosystem, which you have to secure as a company or as an expert. You mentioned data security. That's also one of the major concern for automotive system manufacturers or also connected system manufacturers across industries. So from a cybersecurity point of view, they have to take care of four main implications. So the one is safety. So the overall safety of the system, whether it's for automotive or any other such connected systems. Operationability, which is like the operational condition of the vehicle. So sometimes such manipulations might not be having any safety impact, but they might hinder the operationability of the vehicle. So you might not be able to operate the vehicle due to some malicious cyber attacks or any cyber manipulations. And other two factors would be privacy, which is again for the customer data or vehicle related data, which can be manipulated or hacked and may go to certain actors who are not authorized to have access to those data. And the last one would be a financial aspect, because this might also incur certain cost either for individuals, drivers, vehicle owners, or also automotive organizations or supply chain companies which are part of that. So these four factors are, I think, key factors which are direct implications of any cybersecurity incident, hypothetically.
And taking the future and looking at things a little bit broader, we know there's been some talk of flying cars, flying taxis operating within China over the next sort of 6 or 7 years. We just wondered what your thoughts might be on something such as that.
I've been also reading certain reports, just not only for flying cars, but also for any other tall electric vehicle transportation systems. I would say air taxis would have come across also in Germany or certain other parts of the world. There are some initiatives going on for air taxis, on-demand taxis. So for these systems, as well as drones, I would also include under those categories for multiple applications, whether it's for surveillance or it's for agriculture or any such use cases. So one might ask, what could go wrong? I mean, it's just a drone. So they might take just a picture of me or something like that. So they do pose serious concerns to cybersecurity, because again, it's not just about security or safety or the system itself, but also the users, and whoever is interacting with those systems. So if you take example of flying taxis or maybe drones or robotaxis or last mile solutions, which are used for delivery of post or packets or even food in some city like Zurich or in London. So you have to think it from a system perspective. You have to think, are they having access to any private or personal data? Yes or no? What's going to happen if, let's say, if somebody manipulates these systems? Can they find some details or some data which might be used against my own will? So, for example, there would be also interacting with your personal data, like your home address, for example. If, let's say, we take example of robotaxi, so they might be having your personal address where they need to drop you off if you are ordering such taxis. They might be also having access to your financial data. So you might be paying them using your credit cards, debit cards, or maybe digital payment systems. So we have to think from all these use cases and those perspectives in order to figure out how cybersecurity should be implemented, not just from design point of view for the system, but also what could go wrong for the end user or the customer in a worst case scenario.
That's brilliant. And moving forward, how can initiatives such as Cyber Purpose, for instance, make complex cybersecurity and technology topics accessible for diverse audience?
Yeah. So with Cyber Purpose, my approach is to simplify the language of cybersecurity. So what I have come across, cybersecurity is often dubbed as a very, very technology-heavy, highly complex domain, and you don't find many takers for this. Of course, it's a topic which is I think relevant for everyone, for consumers, for professionals like me, or other enthusiasts who want to work in this sector, and also companies who are looking for such talents and regulators, etc. But the language, I think, the simplification of those technical concepts is one thing which I was personally very overwhelmed when I started a couple of years back. So my idea is to put them in a very simplistic manners so that everybody can understand, whoever wants to come in this sector, either as a student or as an enthusiast or working in this sector. And also understand it from a system perspective, which means they should not just focus on technology, but also have a viewpoint of a 360-degree. So which means they should understand the business implications of cybersecurity. They should also be able to understand what are other factors like certification of the products or homologations, changing regulatory landscapes, not only in Europe, but also worldwide, whether it's in China, America, India, or UK, any other part of the world. So that would be, I think, my two-faceted approach on simplification and putting it in a holistic manner for the readers. And thirdly, I haven't come across something which focuses only on connected product cybersecurity across the industry. So I would also like to work on a free resource for the students and also enthusiasts and learners who want to have upskilling in this sector.
That's brilliant. That's something that Jay and myself are heavily involved in here in the UK. Here we connect startups and SMEs such as yourself with academia to draw from those resources and make brilliant minds to help drive innovation forward.
I really appreciate that. I'm totally impressed, and that was, I think, the first reason why when Jay approached me, I was totally impressed, and I said, okay, let's do this, because this is something for the awareness of the community and also to motivate others to join the automotive cybersecurity or cybersecurity in general as a domain. So whoever wants to join this field, whoever wants to contribute in such some manner, I think they should find a platform, and for that, I see Secure Connect is doing a brilliant job.
And Raghav, for those individuals that are perhaps already within the automotive industry that don't have a technical background, that have perhaps got strong soft skills, the ability to listen and learn, and of course the influence, they're looking to potentially transition across to the OT security side of things. How easy is it for them to do that? Females in particular, for instance.
I would say automotive cybersecurity is not very complex. It's a multifaceted, multidisciplinary field, I would say. So if someone is really willing to learn and really willing to put some efforts, it's doable. So my advice would be, or my approach would be to focus on the overall system. So if someone who is a computer science engineer or mechanical engineer or electronics engineer and wants to go into this field as a next career transition or as job change, he or she can do that as long as he or she is willing to put some effort. With that I mean they should focus it from the faceted. They should focus it on automotive cybersecurity from three angles. The first angle is a technology or technical angle. So of course, any engineer would be able to figure it out very easily. Second angle is to think of cybersecurity as a business enabler rather than a blocker or maybe security policing internally to the organizations or industry, I would say. And third one should be able to communicate these concepts in a simpler, in a lighter, in a plain language to the business executives and also higher managements as well. So if I think someone is willing to put efforts on these three aspects, should be able to, I think, figure it out what to do. There are plenty of material available, plenty of literature, case studies, references available. I will not highlight any particular certifications, but that's one thing which I also am involved with and continuously try to update or upskill myself. But that could also be something which candidate might be able to, I think, look into. So there are cybersecurity certifications for automotive and also non-automotives, like for information security, ISO 27 series of standards and related certifications. If somebody wants to go into cloud, there are a number of certifications for cloud technologies, as well as embedded systems and information security.
And as a topic that's very much close to Warren and myself, and in terms of the ongoing challenges of finding the right talent within cybersecurity, and certainly over the next few years, especially within the automotive industry. And what advice would you give people who want to get into not just the security sector and become, but also want to become a specialist within the automotive cybersecurity sector?
Yeah. That's a very good question. And I have seen this question quite often also for non-automotive cybersecurity segment. And within automotive cybersecurity, so if we take example of ISO 21434 or UNICR 155 cybersecurity management system implementation across automotive organizations, this is standard mandates. There are a number of roles, and many of those roles come from GRC domain, as you rightly mentioned. So GRC is a short form for governance, risk, and compliance. So GRC focuses on roles which are related to coordinations, governance, risk management, policy making, and project management. So individuals who are having a good soft skills, a good communication skill, as well as good with people, I think for those individuals, it's the right choice to start with GRC roles, and then later, if they want to go into deeply technical roles like security engineers or architects, they can definitely graduate into those. I think so, and my personal opinion is there's a huge lack of talent for multiple reasons within industry for such cybersecurity architects, engineers, or individuals who are willing to work into GRC sector. The one being it's a relatively new field, as I just mentioned, it's highly as old as 5 years. Of course, the first cybersecurity catalyst or incident took place almost 10 years back in 2015, but it's still because of the new demand for regulations and implementation of ISO 21434 and certain other regulations, not just for Europe, but also other parts of the world like US, China, India, and UK. There's a huge demand and there's a huge lack of talent for the industry. So if someone is willing to put some time for upskilling and also trying to be ready for continuous upskilling, because it's not one time job, one has to be, I think, ready to invest some efforts continuously, because regulators are coming with new regulations, new policies. At the same time, attackers or manipulators or hackers are continuously finding a way to breach your system security and trying to come up with a new weak spots and vulnerabilities in your automotive system. So if somebody is targeting either from GRC point of view or from engineering point of view, they should be able to put some more effort for continuous learning. And then I think it's a good field to go into.
And you've obviously built and led teams and driven innovation that's enabled transformation within the automotive sector. What do you think is one of the key skills or mindset shifts that's been crucial for your success and that you'd advise other people to focus on?
So I think one thing which helped me was continuous learning in past couple of years. So when I started in automotive cybersecurity 6 years back or 7 years back, I would say, of course, I had some interaction with the automotive cybersecurity even 10 years back when I was working with a automotive supplier company who was actually supplier of a Jeep where this system got manipulated or hacked 10 years back, unfortunately. I have learned one thing: one has to focus. So there's a lot of resource and there's a lot of information, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. So if one is able to focus on relevant areas which are of high impact, of course, it comes with the time. It's not like you just start to tomorrow and you figure out everything by your own. But I think if one is seeking to find out the highly impact areas, not just for the system from technical point of view, but also for the organization. If somebody is going to create a software cybersecurity programs or going to build a cybersecurity team as an individual, I think that is one main aspect which I would like to focus upon. So clarity on the highly relevant areas and impact for the overall organization and overall system security. That's one point. Secondly, I would like to mention the continuous upskilling, learning, relearning, because as I mentioned, the convergence of all three sectors, from IT security to cloud security to embedded system security, for all these industries which we talked about, whether it's for automotive or medical technology, or robotaxis or flying cars or vehicle to infrastructure, that becomes a critical area, in my opinion. So it needs a multidisciplinary approach. If someone is a mechanical engineer or just an IT engineer, he or she should be also able to look at from other perspective. So for mechanical engineers, I think it makes sense to also look from IT side of things. Okay, what could go wrong? The system, IT system which I'm using for the protection of my vehicles, are they secure enough? What interfaces I do have in my role? And the same applies to the security person. If he or she is willing to look at the big picture for the security of overall ecosystem, should also be able to put some effort to look and understand things from embedded side of things, from mechanical side of things for the system, which can be manipulated or can be used as a backdoor for the cybersecurity breaches.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And just shifting gears for a second, putting your hat on in terms of your experience and exposure to the startup and scale-up space, how can both technology and security leaders use their technical expertise to add value in a commercial sense or in the investment landscape, perhaps?
So here again, I would like to highlight the translator role of a technical expert. So for startups, most of the times I have seen they are limited on budget and resources and also in-house expertise. So if somebody is whether working as a technical advisor or startup advisor or as an SME who is supporting the startup in some capacity, I think it again goes to the impact of his activities or value he's going to provide to the startups. So I think when a startup is very small, it's not a full-scale startup and also have not launched any product into the market, it's a much easier to focus on the critical activities during the product design itself. So as a technical expert, I think the focus should be more on the security by design or privacy by design on these principles, so that the security is embedded or inbuilt in the product itself. So as the startup grows, as the market launch timelines approaches or nears, then the startup advisor can focus on larger activities. So then they can figure out, okay, for market X, Y, and Z, how I'm going to launch this product. So do I need a homologation? Do I need a certification, which are security and privacy relevant? So I would say it could be a step-by-step approach. So for a smaller startups, they are mostly in seed phases or in, I think, pre-seed phases. The advisor along with the business team or along with the head of a product team can focus on embedding security into the product itself. For larger startups, when they're approaching a product launch timeline, I think they can think of focusing on the business relevant activities such as homologation, certifications, and also building cybersecurity programs for the organization.
Yeah. So, in terms of effective communication being vital with C-suite, Raghav, and pitching transformations and securing allies within the board to get buy-in, we see the industry use a number of analogies. Analogies are often used within security. What's your go-to analogy for simplifying technical concepts?
Yeah, I could use analogy of house maybe, or I could also think of from a system level analogies to explain cybersecurity concepts. So you can think of your connected product as an ecosystem. So let's say if you are living in a house or an apartment, of course, that's your apartment or that's your core area with doors and locks and all the security mechanisms. At the same time, you're also interacting with the external entities, whether it's your city infrastructure, whether it's for electricity, whether it's for internet, whether it's for your home delivery, a pizza service, and things like that. So you can think of your house as a core system. It can also compare it with any automotive system. And these external entities as external interfaces. So whether it's a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or any external interface which is interacting with the car. At the same time, you can also compare it with your external communications which you are having via your home. So as I mentioned, you are ordering a pizza from a pizza guy, or you are ordering a taxi to your home, or you are having energy from your utility supplier. So these are external interfaces in that case. And how do you secure safety of your home? How do you secure security of your internet connection? How do you secure privacy of your home address? Such things can be translated to any connected system like automotive car or any connected car or any connected system across the industry. So probably that we can use as an analogy, and we can also go for a systematic approach. We can take it example of an onion. So you have different layers of onions, and from security point of view, you can focus on the outermost layer of the onion, and then as you go deeper, you figure out more and more details and more layers of that security, which should be there if you are going to protect any particular embedded system across automotive or any such industry, or a security of your home perimeter.
And for our community and listeners, are you happy to rejoin us in the coming months and be part of the large panel discussions, which are, of course, can be exclusive on the Secure Cyber Connect community platform?
I would love to, Aaron. Yeah, sure.
No, that's brilliant. We're looking forward to that.
So, Raghav, we've covered some really fascinating topics today, some amazing insight into the automotive sector. So thank you. Finally, what does the future hold for you?
Oh, that's a brilliant question, Jay. I'm not sure. So I think in next 6 months to 1 year, I'll focus on cyber purpose to build a resource and newsletter platform digitally for all the automotive security enthusiasts and anybody who wants to start a career or want to learn something about automotive security. So this is one project where I'm working currently. At the same time, I'm also collaborating with non-profit organizations, cybersecurity communities across Europe and UK to become more active in the community-related work. So I'm connecting with the automotive product security leaders, policymakers, as well as non-profit organizations who are researching into automotive cybersecurity or cybersecurity aspects in general. So these two things I've been focusing at the moment.
Fantastic. And for any of our listeners who want to stay connected beyond this episode and beyond the platform, where else can they reach out to you, Raghav?
Yeah, sure. So they can reach out to me either via LinkedIn, or they can also reach out to me via Cyber Purpose newsletter itself. So, or maybe via Secure Connect, because I'm looking forward to have our collaboration also beyond this podcast. So why not?
Fantastic. Well, we'd like to say thank you. And I'm sure the community, all our listeners, have found a huge amount of value in listening to today's episode. And if people want to continue the discussion and obviously want more sustained engagement, then as always, we invite you to join the Secure Cyber Connect community. We offer a range of collaborative solutions for both technology and security professionals at no cost. These include expansive community access, cross-sectional mutual mentoring programs, weekly online networking sessions, and a range of exclusive interviews such as this, and panel discussions, as mentioned, along with masterclasses in the new year. To learn more and to gain access to the Secure Cyber Connect community and all of our initiatives, please visit secure-recruitment.com/cyber-connect/. Thank you very much.